Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today we're going to talk about missing persons. With us right now we have Detective Eileen Law. Thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
And we also have Gina Miller. You're a singer-songwriter, but you've been involved with a project which is the Squeaky Wheel Tour that helps find missing persons. Tell me briefly about that.
The tour was originated and founded by Janelle Rapp, whose sister went missing from Lincoln, Nebraska 16 years ago. And both Janelle and her sister Gina are both singer-songwriters. So it's on the news for a week, and then there's not much coverage after that. From her standpoint, I understand what she's saying there. So she started the tour with singer-songwriters to profile missing people.
Yes.
To get their faces back out, and she's doing it as a tour once a month, or 1 month out of the year. So it draws attention for that time span, because if you do something all year round, it loses its momentum. So doing the tour once a year has proven to be helpful with helping find the missing. They found over 600 missing people by doing this tour that Janelle started.
Great. And then you got started because then you chose
to participate as a Gina artist.
Yes.
When you participate in the tour, you become a Gina artist, and then you profile somebody that's missing from your area. In this case, it was Toni Sharpless, and I know her family and wanted to help. And this is one of the ways that I can help.
Yeah, and the detective on that case is you.
It is.
Okay, now you've been doing this 31 years.
Yes.
Now let me get this straight. You also specialize in kidnapped children, missing people, and finding biological parents. Is
Correct.
that right? Wow, so tell me more about what you do, how you do it, and...
Well, I'll say specifically to Toni's case, or we'd be here all day. I was packing for a vacation when I saw a TV interview from someone else talking about this missing nurse from Chester County. My husband said, "Hey, honey, look, this nurse is missing." And I saw them dredging the Schuylkill River, footage of that. And for what it's worth, my intuition, my instinct has kept me alive today, literally. And it told me a few things. First, that she was not in the river, that she was very much alive, that I sensed that she was nearby, in a nearby state, but out of Pennsylvania, and that for whatever reason, I sensed that there were drugs and even possible sexual exchanges being exchanged, and not on her own volition. And I said to myself, if they don't find her by the time we come back from vacation, I think it was 10 days, I was going to contact the family. For the record, in 31 years, I had never done that before. They usually call me. The fact that she was a nurse, and nurses and police and fire people, police and firemen and women hold a special place in my heart, and I wanted to volunteer my time, but I thought fully that she would probably be found. When I returned and she hadn't been, I placed a call to Donna Knable, her mother, and just left a message saying, "I'm here if I can help in any way. I would do this pro bono. Please call me." I didn't get a call for some time. It was like a month and a half. And ironically, Toni's mother works at the courthouse where I formerly was employed, and my late husband as well. And apparently people were going up to her, attorneys, judges, and friends, saying, "There's this detective that does this, call her." And Donna said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I think that's the woman who called and left a message." So she called me. I had Donna, and I asked for her to bring someone else, because the questions I would be asking would be tough for her to answer, and I wanted to make sure she'd be okay driving home. I began the investigation immediately. I started with, we put up a poster, as you can see. Actually, there have been several. That's one of many, and some of them have her vehicle on the poster. I started a website. We did little cards business cards to hand out to people as well. We did a whole array of things, and the posters were distributed, and I started knocking on doors. I contacted the media, and we went from there.
Okay. Now, you've been doing this 31 years.
Yes.
And you've had an amazing success rate. 98%, did you tell me?
Thank God above, yes.
Wow. So what is it that you do and how you do this? I mean, I can see that you are so vested in what you do. It's so much a part of who you are.
Let me say that, corny as it may sound, I've always believed two things. That it takes what I call the 3 Ps: prayer, patience, and persistence.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that I won't give up. My husband says I'm like a dog with a bone. And I follow this God-given instinct that I've been given, and sometimes I disagree with it. My head tells me one thing, my gut tells me another thing, and when I don't go with my gut, I pay for it. But the bottom line, Diane, is that I never questioned, even as a teenager, even though I wanted to be a veterinarian, I never questioned why I was put on this earth. I always knew that it was to give people peace of mind. There's, would I love to be rich and famous and all? I guess, of course. But it gives me such wonderful peace personally, knowing that I'm helping other people and taking, as Donna has said, that she lets things roll right off her back because she knows I have her back.
Yeah.
And that is immense pleasure right there.
Yeah. I know when you've been out on the Squeaky Wheel tour, this has meant a lot to you too, Gina, to be a part of this. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Downingtown is a close-knit community, and everybody pretty much knows everybody. I just wanted to be able to help, and actually, Tony's cousin sent me a message about the case, and that's how I knew about this, because I had adopted somebody else and wasn't really making too much headway from that. And I contacted Janelle and said, would I be able to switch out for somebody that actually contacted me? She said, absolutely. So it's done my heart good to be able to help.
Yeah. So when we look at what you do, how can we as public help you with what you do and be responsible citizens and people?
The biggest thing where Toni or any missing person case is concerned is to share their photograph. Get their picture out there, even if they've shared it 10 times last month, do it again, because there might be one person who didn't see it last month that saw it and can say or do something about it. The other thing is, and this concerns me with John Q. Public in anything, and that is, and the police have coined this phrase, see it, say it. If you see a child being who is left in a car or being emotionally or physically abused, people get on their cell phones right away and call the police. Not so much with adults. And they just assume that if, for example, an adult has had previous issues with drugs or alcohol or whatever it may be, they just assume, oh, well, she's off on a binge or something like that, when it's not like that at all. So I think the police phrase is wonderful. If you see something, if it's odd and it doesn't seem right, follow that intuition, call the police. They're not going to say, lady, you're crazy, and hang up. They're going to take it and hopefully do something with it. But if they don't, it's off your shoulders. You've done at least your part in reporting it. And that's very, very important.
Wow. You work on a lot of cases at the same time, don't you?
I do.
What are you working on?
Working on my roots, my gray roots, not being so gray anymore. I certainly can't use...
You have how many you're working on right now? Is there...
I usually work on a dozen a week, a dozen different ones. And I've always said that once Toni is found, regardless of who finds her, once she's found and another man who is innocent, who's been in prison for 21 years for a crime he didn't commit, and I have all the evidence to exonerate him, once those two things happen, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sing. I'm a singer and songwriter as well, and
Yes.
I'm going to be off, 5 o'clock somewhere type thing.
There you go. We're going to put a website up on the screen right now where you can find out some more information. We're going to take a brief pause and we're going to talk to Donna, Toni's mother, so stay with us. Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about missing persons. We've been with Detective Eileen Law. Thank you for all the work you do. And now joining us is Toni's mother, Donna Knoebel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. We are talking about all the cases that you're working on. And you were saying that there were 20 cases of where people have been missing for a couple of decades but have been found. Tell me a little bit more.
Correct. Right here in Lancaster County, we have the case of Brenda Heist. She went missing 19 years. There was J.C. Dugard. There are the 3 young ladies from Ohio, and many, many more like them. There was one young man who disappeared when he was 7 years old. There was an age progression done on him, and he saw himself on the internet and on a television show about missing people, and he called in and he said, "I think that's me," and sure enough it was.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. The relationship that the two of you have going through this. Donna, tell me more.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
When I called her to take on this case after talking to a close friend of mine who grew up with Eileen, she said, "Oh, definitely call her." So I have. From that day on, things have rolled off my shoulders so that I could get back to work, concentrate on my granddaughter, because Eileen's taken on the case. Actually, we became close friends because I talked to her very often.
I'm sure.
But she keeps me under wraps as to what's going on, but she also keeps me protected from the people that are out there that I call wackadoos,
Yeah.
that just want to get their 2 cents in to, just throw you off or just draw at you or what have you.
Yeah. Now, Toni went missing August 23rd, 2009.
Correct.
Right. Now, there has been progress with the case.
Yes.
One of those things is a letter. How recent is this letter?
The letter was written in 2012. It was postmarked from Trenton, New Jersey, November 29th of 2012. And it was sent to me. And may I read it?
Yes, please.
It says, I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I'll stop when it refers to certain things that have been redacted. And it says, "Dear Eileen Law, the police in PA do not have a tip line. I tried calling the Philly police where I live, but they said it was not in their jurisdiction. One of the detectives pulled me aside and gave me your name and address. In the last few days of September 2009, a friend in Camden called me and offered me money to move a car from Brooklawn, New Jersey to Boston, Mass. He told me he would pay me $5,000 cash, plus I could have the plates. He asked if I knew anyone 27 or 29 that wanted to paper trip, so he gave me a social security card. I drove the car, a black 4-door Pontiac Grand Prix, and drove to an auto body shop outside of Boston, Mass. I took off the plates and with a black magic marker wrote down the last 5 digits of the VIN number and cleared out the glove box. I came back to Camden a day later, and he told me that the car was not stolen but missing. He said a friend of his, a cop in Camden, got into a fight with a girl. She died, and he needed to get the car out of New Jersey. About a month ago, my daughter was playing in the garage and found the box with the plates and social security card. I'd forgotten all about it. The plates are, and then he lists the number and the social security card, and he gives Toni's private cell phone number on that. And the last 5 digits of the VIN number are such and such, and they're accurate. Because of Hurricane Sandy, I had to visit Jersey to help friends clean up. I decided to drop you this letter. What happened to Toni, I don't really know. All I know is that she had a run-in with the police, and I was paid much needed cash to get the car to a shop in Boston.
Wow. So the significance and what this has done to the case, tell me.
Well, I have to tell you, when we get virtually any tip, first of all, I take them all seriously, even if they sound like they're wackadoos, as you would put. But what concerned me mostly about this letter in particular was that Toni's VIN number has never, ever been published anywhere, not by the police, not by me, no one, for obvious reasons. This person had her cell phone number. Obviously, her phone was in the car. There were several different things that were correct, and only someone in law enforcement could find that kind of thing out. I always believe, first of all, they went to the trouble to mail it. When I contacted the police to tell them that I received this letter, the first words, before I could get the sentence out, Chief Walt Warner of West Brandywine, who was the initial lead investigator, said, "We were wondering if they were going to contact you as well." I said, "What do you mean?" And long and short of it is, Chester County Police Radio and the police station received 2 calls from a man claiming to be the sheriff of Divide County, North Dakota, saying that they had Toni and her car and wanted to know what the police wanted to do with her, because they really couldn't hold her. She was missing and hadn't done, committed a crime. I also turned this over to the state police in Camden, New Jersey State Police Camden Division, and a female trooper said, "This wouldn't happen to do with the Toni Lee Sharpless case, would it?" And she told me she received such a call as well. So my point is, someone is trying to get us information, even though some of it is inaccurate, like the writer refers to having plates, plural. Only Jersey has plates. Pennsylvania and Toni's car would have had 1 plate.
Okay. Boy, there's a lot that needs to happen to make progress, isn't there? There's a lot of
Absolutely.
connections, right, Donna?
Oh, there is an awful lot. And they all have to fit in like a puzzle. And if you have that one piece out, and that's the missing piece, somebody knows something. Somebody knows something.
I can't even imagine what
Oh, it's very hard.
you go through. But having her in your corner makes a difference.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's my coach.
Yeah. We talked a little bit earlier about what we can do to help. And when we're looking at different cases and that sort of thing, it's being aware too, isn't it, of things going on and how we can possibly even help with other cases. I think we started to talk about that with kids and with adults, right?
Yes, there are many. In fact, in Pennsylvania, there are 80, not Pennsylvania, in the United States, there are 80 different places people can go on to that have websites for missing adults, missing children, whomever, and go in there, look at their pictures, and information is posted. And if you see a car, like Toni's car, for example, report it to the police. If it looks like it might be hers, she had very unique wheels, and just report it. Again, then it's off your shoulders, you've done something. Let the police deal with that.
Okay. You had put a website to promote. We'll put that up on the screen. Tell us more what's on there.
www.missingtonisharpless.com. And on that, there's tons of information about Toni, but in addition, people can put anonymous tips. I will get that tip, no matter what it says. I will get it 5 seconds after it's posted, and I will look into it.
Wow, what else will we find there too?
Well, you'll find obviously the pictures of her car, her license plate number, a description of Toni. She had very beautiful eyes. They're blue-green type eyes, and just an array of information that you can, you can look at people, and don't necessarily look if she is a brunette in the picture. Don't assume that she's still a brunette. Don't assume, for example, that she will look exactly the same, because she probably would not.
The aging with some of these pictures, that really has been impactful, hasn't it?
It has. I do some of that in my own, with Photoshop. I will do age type progression. I've also posted on the internet pictures of her with different color hair, long wigs, short wigs. I've experimented with all of that, and that's on the internet as well.
Yeah, it makes a difference. What would you like us to know, Donna?
Just keep putting that picture out there, because people tend to forget. It's out of sight, out of mind. Just put it out there. If you think you see her, take a picture. Send it to the website, Detective Eileen Law. Just any little inkling you may have, even if you think that has happened in the past where someone had contacted Eileen. She sent me the picture, and it was very, very close. Very
Okay.
close.
Right, and that's where working together.
Absolutely.
And this is pretty much a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing. I know from what the phone calls that she.
Absolutely.
I've woken her up many a night.
Yeah, because sometimes it's really immediacy with it. Is that?
It is.
That's right.
It is.
I have learned so much. I never met Toni. It would be a pleasure to meet her. And a lot of people are saying, including her friends, and I know they don't mean harm by saying this, but they'll say she can't be alive because she'd never leave her daughter. She loved her mother. She loved her job. And all of those things are true. But just because someone is missing doesn't mean they're no longer on this earth.
Yeah.
And I'm living proof of that.
Yeah, you are. We're going to take a brief pause. Thank you for all that you do. You are making a big difference. We'll be back with some final thoughts. Stay with us. We've been talking about missing persons and the difference that we can make and help. We brought Gina back. Gina, give me a final thought.
Well, final thought is I really would like to find Toni, like we all do. And I'm still going to do my best to participate as a Gina artist with the Squeaky Wheel Tour that I'm involved with. And everybody combined is working hard to find her. And there's a lot of people missing.
Yeah.
I totally believe in what I'm doing for the tour.
And other artists can be a part too. We'll
Yes.
put that website up on the screen as well. Eileen, give me a final thought.
Toni has a daughter. She was 12 years old when her mommy went missing. She's now 19. She cries herself to sleep virtually every night. Several times I have. She has a mother, a stepdad, a sister, and a lot of people who love her. And they don't know one way or another if she's alive or not, if she's hot, if she's cold, if she's eaten food or whatever. They don't know.
Right.
So it's time, let them do something. Have somebody with information come forward.
Yeah. We're going to put that website up on the screen as well because we can make a difference. And this is something we can definitely do. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us today, too. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, reminding you to look behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.